Organizational strategy. Well, we already talked about this. What is the company's strategy? Basically, what do they want to achieve? It's green. Okay, so we talked about that. Whatever the company's strategy is, and oh my God, there's the S word again. Now we know why this makes up 30% of the SPHR exam. We, from an HR perspective, we have to link elbow to elbow with all those organizational leaders and everybody who sits on the board or whatever the dynamics are of that company. We are expected to be active leaders in developing the company's competitive advantage. So you take, for example, and I'm just pulling something random out of my mind, but I can't help but always bring it back to my favorite example, which is Apple. Apple produced, and think back years ago, gosh, we must be pushing what, like 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, when they first came out with, which really helped their business, stay afloat because they were struggling. When they first came out with this iPod, this crazy little gizmo thing that changed the way in which we download music. And then they came out with the phone, which totally revolutionized the way that we even communicate with one another. So from a technical standpoint, man, did they have the competitive edge in the market? My goodness. But from an HR perspective, if we did not, or they did not, have in place that strategic concept to support this absolutely indifferent product, they didn't have that strategic HR angle to hire what they call geniuses that are going to equip those retail stores, that are going to complement that differentiation angle that Apple, chose to go forward with, then no, HR obviously is not paralleled with the company. This was all like a massive master plan, which was just geniusly executed. Let me actually, I'm just having a little bit of a second thought that I want to give you. Bear with me. I just have to pull out one of my books. I want to pull out a textbook. I want to read you something. I'm sorry it's only occurring to me to do it now. Okay. Sorry about that. If I sounded a little bit distant, I just want to pull over. I'm going to read you the definition of strategy. And no, you don't need to know it verbatim for your test, but I just want to drive my point home anyhow. The definition, as per the HRCP learning system, strategy refers to the goals and set of policies designed to achieve competitive advantage in a particular marketplace. This definition embraced the terminology competitive advantage. And yes, naturally, I think everybody's strategy should in some way be competitive in nature to some point. We can even be silly and think of it in our dating life. We want to be competitive, right? There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of fish in the sea. So I think it's just human nature, not to mention smart business. So then allow me to elaborate what competitive advantage is defined as. So I continue to read, and I quote, competitive advantage refers to the ability to transform inputs into goods and services at a maximum profit on a sustained basis, so much so better than the competitors. So that sounds to me anyhow very upscale in the sense of, oh, the big head honchos in those comfy chairs that sit in the boardroom, they'll take care of it. And then I'll just follow their lead. No. As a strategic business partner, as an alliance, HR has to implement these very same methodologies into each and every one of their action plans, which, yes, are going to support what organizational strategy has been selected. So with that said, let's talk about the vision. And we're going to go on and we're going to talk about the mission. Back in my day when I worked at the Gap, and I'm sure they knew what they were doing, but to me, on the front end, it sounded like a blur. All I heard was vision, mission, values. Vision, mission, values. Vision, mission, values. It was like one blended word. And it only with time did I realize those are three completely different things. They're not captured correctly, then unfortunately, they're not going to be interpreted correctly by all of those key partners that are going to be your strategic business partners. The vision describes the future of the company. The vision will also describe how the company is going to be successful. The vision commonly is a question. A question that, hey, listen, if the company achieves all of its strategic goals, what is it going to look like in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years?